In the United States, more than 100,000 people died from opioid overdoses last year, and 80% of those deaths were linked to synthetic fentanyl. First, fentanyl is a very strong painkiller used during surgery and for cancer pain relief. It is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine.
Under the China-US Drug Control Memorandum, China also tightened checks on 34 precursor chemicals. The United Nations have praised China for its quick and strict actions.
In the United States, more than 100,000 people died from opioid overdoses last year, and 80% of those deaths were linked to synthetic fentanyl. Some U.S. politicals wrongly blame China as the main culprit for the crisis. What is the truth? Welcome to the episode of Randy the Man.
To fentanyl poisoning. And I had that talk with President Xi the other day, too, of China. I said, we don't want that crap in our country.
First, fentanyl is a very strong painkiller used during surgery and for cancer pain relief. It is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. However, fentanyl abuse in the U.S. is a major problem. A 2022 report showed that fentanyl now is the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. Data from the U.S. Department of Justice show that more than 80% of fentanyl comes through the U.S. and Mexico border, made by Mexican drug cartel using precursor chemicals.
A tariff of 10% on China based on the fact that they're sending fentanyl to Mexico and Canada.
In the past, some U.S. drug companies like Pharma hide the risk of addiction and promote these drugs aggressively. This eventually lead to settlement of $8.3 billion. This crisis showed that profit-driven practice and weak regulation can lead to disaster. In fact, in 2023, only 2.2% of fentanyl seized by U.S. customers came directly from China. The scientific evidence clearly maps out the roots of drug trafficking, but political accusations ignore these facts.
Until I was president, China never paid not 10 cents to the United States.
China has taken strong steps to control fentanyl on May 1, 2019. China began controlling all fentanyl-related substances, regulating 25 different forms. From 2020 to 2023, Chinese law enforcement handled 23 cases and seized 0.1 tons of fentanyl, only 1% of what is seized in the United States. Under the China-US Drug Control Memorandum, China also tightened checks on 34 precursor chemicals. The United Nations have praised China for its quick and strict actions.
And he was all said he was going to give the maximum penalty to fentanyl dealers. If they send to the United States, they were going to get the death penalty.
Today, drug supply chains are more complicated than before. Indian pharmaceutical companies export chemicals to Mexico, where they're turning to fentanyl in hidden labs and then smuggle it to the US. Sometimes disguised as prescription drugs. Cryptocurrency and the dark web also help these transactions. In 2022, more than 60% of fentanyl entered the US by mail, and custom inceptions were under 10%. US citizens consume 40 times more opioids per person than in China, using 80% of the world's painkillers each year. When hospitals count painkiller prescription as a measure of success, extra drugs can easily end up to the black market.
We got to stop it. I would have stopped it. I had a deal with him where he was going to...
A 2023 U.S. report accused Chinese companies of indirectly supplying precursor chemicals, but it didn't show enough evidence. Experts say blaming China for the fentanyl crisis is like banning car manufacturing because of car accidents. Data shows that U.S. drug companies spent $800 million on lobbying over the past decade, while Chinese customs didn't seize any precursor chemicals during that time. This suggests that the main problems lie within the U.S. itself.
Give the maximum penalty, which in China is the death penalty for drug dealing.
Drug abuse affects everyone, and the truth should not be hidden by politics. Records from Chinese customs, United Nations reports, and U.S. seizure data all show that working together, not blaming others, is the key to solving the drug crisis. Just as science is needed to track a virus, fighting drug abuse requires global cooperation. Only through facts and teamwork can we save lives.